Hello, everyone. How's it going? Welcome back to another Watch with Nordic live commentary stream. We are back yet again commentating round 2, game 1 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. This should be a fun game here tonight. I'm looking forward to this one. How's everybody doing? Welcome, everybody who's coming into the chat. Daniel's here. What's up, Daniel? Fenway's here. What's up, Fenway? Todd's here. J-Dub's here. Gritty's a degenerate and must be humble. What did Gritty do to you? Bo's here. What's up, Bon? Juan's here as well. Got everybody here in the chat. Good to see you all coming in here and joining for our second commentary of the day, and this should be a good one. It is game 1 of round 2 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a very fun hockey game here tonight. So, how did we get here is the question that we're asking ourselves. How did we get here to this point? Well, Minnesota took down the Dallas Stars in 6 games after a Quinn Hughes 3-point game there in Game 6. And they advanced to take on the Avalanche, who have been here for a while. They swept the LA Kings early on in the playoffs. Some phenomenal performances from Scott Wedgwood really got them to the second round. Got something in my teeth. Got them to the second round here. And now these two teams face off. Honestly, what I've seen a lot of people argue is that this could be the series to go to the Stanley Cup final, at least on the Western Conference side of things. These two sides are absolutely phenomenal. They played incredible all season long. And either of these two teams have a very good chance, if they win this series, to go to the Cup final. They really do. All right. Starting goaltenders tonight. It is Scott Wedgwood versus Jesper Wallstedt. It's been the two goaltenders who have played all 6 of the other games for each of the two teams. It should be a fun matchup here tonight. 2 of the better goaltenders in live commentary streams. So I'm really looking forward to it here. As well as that too. Yeah, I forget. Kind of out of it a little bit. What is your guys' predictions? Comment who you think is going to win the game here in the comment section. Who is going to win game 1? Comment it down below. Who do you think will win game 1 of this series? Wild in 6? Oh, that's interesting. Oh my God, Dobos just got pied or something. He just got whipped creamed in the face after he just did the interview on TNT. That looks interesting. Oh, shaving cream. Oh, my God. Colorado didn't really get tested versus my Kings, in my opinion. This series should be interesting. Yeah. I think Wild win 4-3. Colorado, Minnesota. Good picks. Good picks. I like them. Puck drop coming up here in a couple of moments. Avalanche coming out of their locker room here, so we still got maybe like a few more moments until we get started here with the game. But thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. I'm expecting a pretty good crowd here for this game tonight. This series, both the series between the LA Kings and the Avalanche and Dallas, Minnesota were 2 of our best performing series on the channel during the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I'm really expecting a great crowd here tonight. We already do. We're not even at puck drop yet, and we got 80 people in here. So that's absolutely nuts. We still got the national anthem here to go before we get started tonight. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button on that stream down below. What's up, Goku? How we doing? All right. Yep, the Avalanche used to be the Nordiques. You're right about that. All right, first game of the second round here in this series. Low-scoring games, I reckon. Wally and Wedgwood will put up hell. I agree. Avs ate popcorn for 4 games versus Kinks. Now they have a real challenge. Yeah, you have a good point there on that. You have a good point. All right, it looks like the anthems have concluded. We're ready to get started here with Game 1 of Round 2 between the Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. It's likely that these two teams, whoever wins this series, has a pretty good chance at going to the Stanley Cup Final. It's the first time in 11 years that Minnesota has played a game in the second round. Colorado, they've been here before, but it's been a little bit. Game 1 of Round 2 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. Live here from Ball Arena. Starting goaltenders here, Scott Wedgwood on one end. .950 save percentage in the 4-game sweep against the LA Kings. On the other side, Jesper Wallstedt, .926 in the 6-game series against Dallas. Or sorry, .924. Try to guess it. All right, here we go. Game 1 of Round 2 between Colorado and Minnesota. And we are underway. Faceoff is won by the Avalanche. They will bank it off the boards and back into the Minnesota zone. Here's Brock Faber, who will bank it off the boards then for Minnesota. Puck will slide to center then for Natchez, broken up and cleared to center. Marty Natchez gets it back then for Colorado, drop back down low for McCarr. McCarr to Taze. Cross-ice passes, it slips back into the Minnesota zone. That is an icing. Or never mind, they waved it off. I thought that was an icing. They stopped playing. Here's Ryan Hartman. Hartman will bring it through center, broken up then by Landeskog. Jared Spurgeon gets it back from Minnesota. Landeskog takes it back then for the Avalanche, who will dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. On the right side, Kulak battling for that puck. Boldy gets it back. Danilo Yurov trying to move this one through center. He'll dump it down low into the Avalanche zone. Here's Kulak battling for now with Johansson. Chipped off the boards then through center. Nelson gets it back for Colorado. He'll dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. Kulak will battle for now with Middleton. Grabbed back by Nelson. Up top, Nichushkin, a shot! And that one goes into Wallstedt. He'll make the save. And there's the first shot of the game. And it comes from Valeri Nichushkin. Face-off coming up here in the Minnesota zone. Some would argue the goaltenders were the real difference makers in both of the series. Wallstedt was phenomenal against Dallas. Wedgwood kept the Avalanche ahead most of the time. The Avalanche were stalled up by Forsberg a lot. They weren't able to get offensive chances a lot of the time. Or goals, I should say. Puck is cleared back into the Avalanche zone. That is another icing, this time against Minnesota. Coaching matchups, Jared Bednar against John Hines. Two experienced coaches. Bednar has been in Colorado for a pretty long time. Hines, not as long, but has been there for about 3 years, 4 years or so. He replaced Dean Evison back in mid-2023. Face-off here in the Minnesota zone is won back by the Wild. Vladimir Tarasenko now pass ahead then to center. Racing forward with speed is Trennan. Trennan will get around Blackenberg. Right side now, McCarron. McCarron up top to Quinn Hughes, a shot. And that one is denied by Wedgwood. And I think this series could be really low scoring. I don't think we're going to see a lot of goals in this series, generally speaking. Maybe in terms of blowouts or anything like that, I think we're going to get a lot of close games, low scoring affairs, high shot velocity. Maybe we'll get some overtime games here as well. Face-off coming up in the Avalanche zone is won back by Colorado. Brent Burns will clear this one back into the Minnesota end. Faber battling forward alongside Nichushkin. McCarron is there fighting forward as well. Clear back on the right side now. Kulak will dump it down low to the corner. O'Connor will take it back for the Avalanche. Chipped ahead then by Minnesota trying to get that one to center. McCarron broken up then by Colorado. Here's Drury to Kelly, who will dump it down low. Drury battling forward alongside Quinn Hughes. Up top now, Kulak, a shot. And that one goes wide there of Wallstedt. And a whistle blown dead at 17:38 as Wallsted's helmet comes off. And when the goalie's helmet comes off, you have to blow the play dead. So they do so. Might see a 5-3 game with an empty net. Yeah, we'll see. Good shot there from up top. Went off the side of Wedgwood's head. And down low to the corner. That's probably why Wedgwood took off his helmet. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. We are 85 subs away from 6,600. Face-off coming up here now in the Minnesota zone. No problem, Frey Puppy. Nico Sturm will take the draw. He's kicked out now. Nick Foligno will come in. The two Foligno brothers there on the line. Face-off one back by Minnesota. Spurgeon off the boards then for Sturm, who will chip it to center. Avalanche get it back in their own end now. Natchez up then to McKinnon. 3-on-3. McKinnon into the zone. Gets in. Shoots it. Saved by Wallstead. And it doesn't even get on, actually. Here's Middlestat. Over then for Foligno. Foligno will chip it back into the Colorado zone. Big hit there by Nick Foligno on Cale Makar. Colorado will force it to center. Natchez comes in skating backwards. Gives it back then for Taze. Taze will clear it down low behind the net. Then battling forward is Damon Hunt, who plays tonight here for Minnesota. Hunt will backhand this one off the boards on the right side. They're trying to get the one free on Foligno. Minnesota is missing Joel Eriksson-Ek and Jonas Brodin, two of the key players on this Wild roster. 3.5 minutes gone. Shots are 2-1 in favor of Colorado. Kirill Kaprizov. Back over then for Hughes. Hughes, cross-ice pass to Kaprizov, broken up. Kaprizov will give it up then for Quinn Hughes in the Minnesota zone. 3.5 minutes gone. Faber. Back over then for Spurgeon. Pass down low then for Faber. Many tried to argue with me that Faber was the best player in the series against Dallas. I wasn't necessarily disagreeing. Hughes. Off the boards then for Zuccarello. Back to Hartman, who dumps it down low behind the Avalanche net. Johansson. Battling forward alongside Colton, who will free that puck. He'll carry it now through center. Colton to Waugh. Down low in front. Big save there by Wallstead as the puck trickles in on him there. Kadri. Battling forward now on the right side. Nicholas Waugh will throw it up top. Then Taze to Burns, a shot. And that one goes wide there of Wallstead. Puck will slide back into the Avalanche zone off of that play. And Colorado will regroup. Here's Taze back to McKinnon. McKinnon broken up then by Boldy. Grabbed back then by Colorado, who will backhand it down low behind their own net. Grabbed back by the Wild, shot on there, saved by Wedgwood. Here's Natchez. Cross-ice pass, then turnover forced by Boldy. Boldy gets it for Minnesota. Will throw it up top, then Spurgeon. At the point, Middleton, a shot, and it's gloved by Wedgwood through all of the traffic there in front. Through about 5 minutes here in this opening period, we are scoreless. Shots are 3-2 in favor of Colorado. I really hate that this is a second-round matchup because these two teams have just been phenomenal to watch this year, and I think this should be the conference finals matchup, but it's not. Face-off here now in the Avalanche zone. It's won by Minnesota. Shot from up top from Hunt goes off of Wedgwood and wide. Battling forward down low in the corner now. Yakov Trenin gets it back from Minnesota. Pass in front, broken up there as Wedgwood makes the stop. Drury clears to center. Wild trying to get that one back, broken up at the line. O'Connor down low in the Avalanche zone. Back over then for Kelly. Being interfered with there by Hunt. McCarron battling forward on the right side for Minnesota. Grabbed back by Kelly, who will throw it up top. Shot from Kulak is blocked. Minnesota gets it back. On the right side, Trenin on one skate will dump it into the Avalanche zone. Malinsky will take it back pretty quickly and backhand it down low. Quinn Hughes. Saucer pass then for Foligno. Marcus Foligno now looking for options. Will drop it back then for Hughes, who will regroup here in the Minnesota end. Some boos here from the Colorado crowd. About 6 minutes gone in this opening period. We are still scoreless. Hughes ahead then for Brock Faber. Faber carries it into the zone, gets around McKinnon. Faber will throw it up top then. Shot from Hunt goes off of Wedgwood. And back down low to the corner. McKinnon trying to play it to center. Blackenberg battling for now alongside Faber. Nick Blackenberg gets it back then for Colorado. Chipped off the boards. Nathan McKinnon will get it to center. Natchez gets around Hughes. Natchez will skate it back up top. Then Taze dekes in. Poke check there by Sturm. Taze will recover and give it back to Lehkonen. Lehkonen up top. McKinnon trying to get around Johansson. Clear back down to the corner then. Burns back to Natchez on the right side. Marty Natchez clears it around the Minnesota net. McKinnon getting it back then for Colorado up top. Here's Malinsky, a shot down low. Lehkonen chance on, blocked. What a block there from Faber. Here's Zuccarello. Back to Brock Faber now on the right side. We'll drop it down low then for Hughes. Hughes up top then to Zuccarello, who will backhand it back into the Avalanche end. Kulak battling for now alongside Hartman. Now Nichushkin will take it back through center then for Colorado. Nichushkin cross-ice pass broken up. Here comes Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov, 2-on-2. Kaprizov, a shot! And that one goes wide there of Wedgwood. Here come the Avalanche the other way. It's Gabe Landeskog. Landeskog to Nelson, a shot. And that one goes wide there of Wallstead. Nelson up top. Kulak a drive. That was out of rebounds there. And Wallstead got there. Here's Kulak. Another chance denied as well. Middleton battling for it here now down low in the corner. It's a 5-man battle for it. Hartman will clear it to the point. And back to center. Blackenberg battling for it now with Johansson. Avalanche will regroup here now in their own zone. It's Jack Drury. Drury in the Colorado zone. Through center now, Nazem Kadri will break it into the Minnesota end. Kadri will backhand it in on Wallstead, and he will make the save at 11:54. Shots are 5-3 in favor of Minnesota. 5-4. We have gone through about 8 minutes of hockey here, and we are still scoreless. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. It helps out with the engagement, brings more people into the wonderful commentary. Coming off of an absolutely insane Game 7 between the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Montreal with just 9 shots in that game. And they get the 2-1 win there in that 7th game, which is absolutely insane. That's the least amount of shots for a win in NHL history. It's absolutely insane. But Montreal moves on. They'll take on the Buffalo Sabres. Canadian team was bound to advance. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts, Todd, I know. I should do a poll to see how many people are cheering for each team. Hang on. Good stuff from the audio broadcast, Nordic. Thank you, F. Nord. I appreciate it, brother. All right, back here in Ball Arena. We are still scoreless in Colorado versus Minnesota. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right, poll is up. Face off here in the Minnesota zone is a tie-up down low in the corner. Delayed penalty coming up, and it's against the Avalanche. Power play coming up here now for Minnesota, the first of the series. And suddenly things have just gotten very interesting. It's Nazem Kadri who will take the pen. And it will send Minnesota to the power play for the first time in this series. And a wild power play coming up in just a moment. Face-off coming up here now. It'll be in the Montreal zone. It'll be in the Colorado zone. It is a holding call on Kadri, and Minnesota will get their top unit out there on this power play. Boldy versus Drury. Face-off is won by the Avalanche. They will dump it off the boards. It's kept in. Oh, no, it's thrown out just slightly. Boldy will give it back to Quinn Hughes in the neutral zone. Hughes for Boldy. Matt Boldy brings it in. Poke checked away. Faber at the point then for Minnesota. Right side, Kaprizov broken up by Colorado, who will dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. Faber. Back over then for Quinn Hughes. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate it. Here's Hughes. Dropping it back then for Boldy. Boldy to Kaprizov. Up top, Hughes as Minnesota finally gains the zone. Faber to Hughes. Back on the right side now, Brock Faber looking for options. Quinn Hughes at the point now for Kaprizov. Kaprizov to Boldy. Boldy to Kaprizov up top then for Boldy, who will look for options. Boldy down low, Zuccarello in front, and it goes just wide there for Kaprizov, who was knocked off that puck. Zuccarello up top for Boldy. He fumbled the puck, and the Avalanche take advantage. A breakaway the other way. It's O'Connor one-on-one with Hughes. O'Connor a shot, and it goes wide of Wallstead. A fumble there for Matt Boldy sends O'Connor the other way. Fortunately for Minnesota, he could not get a shot on. 40 seconds to go on the power play. Hughes intercepted at the line. Avalanche will force it to center. They'll actually dump it down the other way. Grabbing it back then in the Minnesota zone is Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon will drop it back then for Johansson. Marcus Johansson back over then for Hartman. Cleared away then by the Avalanche and down into the Minnesota zone. 10 seconds to go on the Wild power play. One last chance here. Middleton will give it back then for Zuccarello. Johansson carries it into the zone. He doesn't know where the puck's at. Power play will come to a close. No shots for Minnesota on that power play. Here's Kadri one-on-one. Kadri with Spurgeon. A shot saved by Wallstead. Middlestat. Cross-ice pass to Tarasenko, who will dump it down low into the Avalanche zone. Blackenberg gets it back then for Colorado. Up to Nathan McKinnon. McKinnon down the right side. Fires one on Wallstead. He will make the save at 9:15. Chances on both sides for both teams. Shots are 6-4 in favor of the Avalanche. And we are still scoreless here halfway through the period. Thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. It helps out with the engagement, brings more people into the wonderful commentary. We are 86 subscribers away from 6,600, so hit that subscribe button down below if you're new, of course. It'd be greatly appreciated. Where's my water? Here it is. We'll be live tomorrow for both of the playoff games tomorrow. Philadelphia, Carolina, and Vegas and Anaheim. We'll be live for both tomorrow. So stay tuned. Oh, man. Hell of a start, though. Hell of a start. Both sides. It's a fast-paced period as well. These are two fast hockey teams. This is looking like a really fun matchup. All right. Still in commercial break. Did the Raptors beat the Cavaliers? Or is that game still going on? Oh, Cavs are beating the Raptors 72-59 with 4.5 to go in the third. Ooh. Not over yet, though. Thought that one really good chance for the Wild on the power play went in. Face-off coming up here in the Minnesota zone. It's won by the Avalanche. Blackenberg up top to Malinsky. Malinsky to Blackenberg. Blackenberg a shot. It's blocked. Broken stick there for Nico Sturm. Foligno will now dump it into the Avalanche end. Oh, it's actually delayed offsides. Sturm dumps it down low. It's blown dead for an offsides at 8:59. That was interesting. So face-off will come here now outside of the Colorado zone. Some good chances here for both sides. Blackenberg had a pretty nifty chance as well. Yeah, lots of hitting too. Face-off here is won by the Avalanche in their own zone. Here's Natchez. Natchez carries it in, looks for options. Marty Natchez up top, cross-ice pass. Malinsky a shot. He scores! Sam Malinsky opens up the scoring. His first of the playoffs. And the Avalanche lead 1-0. What a play set up there by Marty Natchez, and Malinsky takes advantage on the right side and roofs it on Jesper Wallstedt. And Colorado takes the early 1-0 lead. Oh, that's got to suck. I think it deflected off of Wallstedt and in. So, I think he got a piece of it. But obviously not enough. Oh, yeah, he did. What a shot by Sam Malinsky. That was pretty nice. First of the playoffs. Assisted by Marty Natchez and Devon Tays. And it's a 1-0 lead here for Colorado. Here's Burns now battling for it down low alongside Trennan. Blackenberg gets it back then for the Avalanche, trying to clear it to center. Bogosian battling for on the right side. Wallstedt out of his net to play it. Up top, Burns in the Minnesota zone. Shot on there is denied. Rebound by Kadri is denied as well. It's in the crease, and Wallstedt makes the save and covers up at 8:19. Oh, man. Sam Malinsky is first of the series. Face-off coming up here now in the Minnesota zone. It'll be Foligno versus Drury. Face-off one back then by Jared Spurgeon, who will try and dump it off the boards to the center. Sturm battling for it on the right side. Foligno trying to clear that one to center. He'll get it there successfully. Drury backhands it down low into the Minnesota end. Middleton clears it off the boards. In the corner now, Middleton fighting alongside O'Connor. He's in the front. Drury, a shot. He scores! Jack Drury puts it on the right side of Wallstedt. And it's 2-0 Colorado. Not the start you wanted if you're a Minnesota fan, but if you're an Avalanche fan, you're pretty happy. Jack Drury puts it on the blocker side of Jesper Wallstedt. That's 2 goals on 9 shots. And it's 2-0 Avalanche. Now Jack Drury gets his first of the series. It's off a poor turnover there by Middleton. Face-off here at center ice is won back by the Wild. That's 2 goals in less than a minute for the Avalanche. Landeskog will dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. Quinn Hughes battling for it alongside Nichushkin. Nichushkin up top, then Kulak. Right side, Malinsky, a shot in that one. Is gloved by Wallstedt and some pushing and shoving in front. As Faber gets into it with Landeskog. And yeah, they, not a fan of that. Pretty sure Wallstedt had that puck. So Sam Malinsky and Jack Drury open up the scoring We're going to get some 4-on-4 after those pushing and shoving. It'll probably be Faber and Landeskog. It looks like it, as the two of them got into it there in front of the Minnesota net. Wallstedt made the initial save. And it looks like it might actually be a Colorado power play. After all of that, they might give Zuccarello an additional penalty. I thought it was going to be 4-on-4, but I think it's going to be an Avalanche power play. Yeah, it is. They gave Zuccarello the extra penalty on that. It was initially going to be 4-on-4, but I guess Zuccarello, also for joining in on the fight, gets a penalty as well. And the Avalanche will head to the power play. Their power play struggled in the regular season. Wasn't terrible against the LA Kings, but got to be better. Face-off coming up in the Minnesota zone. Shots are 9-4 in favor of the Avalanche. Here's Spurgeon getting it back then for Minnesota. Back to McCarron. McCarron then for Foligno. Foligno will backhand it down low then. It's stolen back by the Avalanche. Natchez through center. Marty Natchez back to McKinnon. McKinnon into the zone. Pass in front. Lekkonen's back there. Pass over. And a big save by Wallstedt on Kadri to try and stop the bleeding. Shots now 10-4. Hate to say this, but the Nate Dogg is better than McJesus in terms of career if he wins a cup this year. Many would argue that. Many would argue that. Yeah, I think some would even say right now he is. Face-off is won back by Minnesota. Boldy battling for it alongside Lekkonen. Cleared all the way back down low into the Avalanche zone. Wedgwood will come out of his net and give it up then for Devon Toews. Toews ahead then for Natchez. Natchez trying to move it through center, then back to McKinnon. McKinnon into the zone. Fires it. Saved by Wallstedt. Rebounds there to Lekkonen. A chance. He scores! Oh, no. Arturi Lekkonen power play goal. And not even 13, and just over 13 minutes into this hockey game, it's 3-0 Colorado. Yeah, 3-0 Colorado here in this opening period. Shots are 13-4. The Avalanche are picking off right where he left off. Picking up right where they left off. It's not that hard to say that, Nordic. Come on. And I wouldn't really say any of these goals were on Wallstedt either. The one was just a bad defensive play. Got hemmed in their own zone. That's 3 goals in 2 minutes for Colorado. Here's Nelson trying to get around Bogosian. Battling for now down low in the corner. Zuccarello. Back to Kaprizov. Played ahead then through center. Matt Zuccarello will dump it off the boards and back into the Avalanche zone. 6.5 minutes to go in this first period. Here's Colton. Back to Devon Toews. Toews over then to Nichushkin. Shot on, rebounds there. And a good chance by Nelson goes wide. What's up, Chris? How we doing? Puck is dumped all the way back into the Avalanche zone. Wedgwood battling for it in the corner. Then Kaprizov alongside Malinsky. Nichushkin thrown to center. Quinn Hughes will get it back then for Minnesota. Hughes, a backhand pass to Trennan. Trennan back over then for Spurgeon. Spurgeon then for Quinn Hughes, who will move it through center. He's slammed in center ice. Here's Tarasenko, broken up there with that puck. McCarron up top. Back over to Spurgeon. Spurgeon to Tarasenko. Pass over. McCarron a drive. Denied there by Wedgwood. And Colorado will dump it to center. Here's McCarron. Back over then for Spurgeon. Jared Spurgeon now in the Minnesota zone. Shots are 13-5 here in favor of the Avalanche with about 5 minutes to go. Back in the Avalanche zone, Brett Kulak will dump it around behind the net then. Wild force it in the zone. Boldy battling for it down low in the corner alongside Yurov. Yurov Trying to get this puck loose. Spurgeon, a shot save there. Johansson rebounds there. They score! Marcus Johansson answers back for Minnesota. They stop the bleeding at 4:58. It's 3-1 Avalanche. And honestly, that's a big, big goal there for Minnesota. They stop the bleeding. It's now a 2-goal game. And they had to respond. And they do so. Marcus Johansson spins that around, posted in. And the Wild are on the board. It's 3-1. I thought it was Spurgeon for some reason. I don't know why. 18th career goal for Johansson, his second of the playoffs. What is goaltending, right? Face-off here won by Minnesota. They will bank it off the boards and back down into the Avalanche zone. Sturm. Down low in the corner then for Foligno. Marcus Foligno intercepted then by the Avalanche, who will take it back down the other way. Natchez to Lehkonen. Intercepted then by Hunt for Minnesota, who will get it back to center. Brett Kulak. Over then for Lehkonen. Arturi Lehkonen gives it back then for Kulak. Now Blackenberg will dump it down low here into the Minnesota zone. Lehkonen battling for it alongside Bogosian. Lehkonen pass in front. And a big save there by Wallstedt on Brock Nelson, who was left all alone coming in. We will step aside. 4 goals already, and we're not even done the opening period. It is a 3-1 hockey game. Multi-point game for Marty Natchez. That's worth noting there. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Subscribe down below if you're new. Of course, like the stream as well. It helps out with the engagement, brings more people into the wonderful commentary. It'd be greatly appreciated. Well-played hockey game here so far. Avalanche with 3 goals in just over 2 minutes. It was important for Minnesota to bounce back. And Marcus Johansson did so. And yeah, they definitely had to do so. I felt like they had to get something to go their way, and thankfully they were able to. Can the Canadiens beat the Sabres? Definitely. I definitely think they can. Oh, man. What a hockey game we got here so far. Really feeling the impact of Eriksson's absence. Yeah, they definitely lack the offense down the middle. What's his status? How long is he going to be out for? 3-1 Colorado here in this opening period. I haven't heard that much on him. Hopefully he's okay and we'll be back for game 2 potentially. Face-off coming up here now in the Minnesota zone. Nelson versus Sturm. Face-off is won back by the Wild. Kaprizov. 1-on-2. Back over then for Hartman. Cross-ice pass. Quinn Hughes. Down low then for Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov. Right side then for Hughes. Hughes below the line then for the Wild. Pass in front. Big save. Rebounds there. They score. It's Ryan Hartman with the rebound that slips through Wedgwood. And they might take a look at that, but regardless of it, it's 3-2. Oh my goodness. Ryan Hartman from Quinn Hughes and Kirill Kaprizov. All of a sudden, it's a 1-goal hockey game. Wow. And yeah, we have ourselves a hockey game, folks. Things just got really, really interesting. What are save percentages anyway, right? What are they? Wild showing some life. And this is what we expected here. We expected them to make a comeback. Shots are 14-7. Hughes to Faber. Down low in the corner now, McKinnon chipped off the boards. Then Tarasenko to center. Here's Trennan. Racing for that puck. Broken up then by the Avalanche. Colorado will dump it all the way back into the Minnesota zone. It'll go just wide of Wallstead for an icing. Suddenly, it's a one-goal hockey game here. Things just got very, very interesting. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. Shots are 14-7. We have 5 goals here in this one so far. Absolutely nuts. Quickest 5 goals since last year. Face-off won by the Avalanche. They will dump it back down into the Minnesota zone. It'll be an icing at 3:25 against Colorado yet again. Nearly more goals in this game together than all shots Montreal took in the whole game. Yup. You're right on that. You are very right on that. Don't miss Burns. Yeah, that was a brutal play. Wasn't going to say anything, but that was a brutal play. Face off in the Avalanche zone. It's won back by Colorado. Cleared off the boards and all the way back into the Minnesota zone. This time it will not be an icing. Kept by the Avalanche. McKinnon. Intercepted by Minnesota. They'll get it to center. Kaprizov trying to get around Hartman. Sam Malinsky gets it back then for Colorado. Malinsky backhands it off the boards to center. Natchez for McKinnon. McKinnon to Natchez. Pass over is broken up as it goes back down into the corner. Here's Lehkonen to Natchez. Natchez a shot. Saved by Wedgwood. Or Wallstead. I'm going to make that error so many times. Because they both start with a W. Wedgwood, Wallstead. I'm going to make that error so many times. I just know it. I just know it. So please excuse me if I do. Anyway. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. Face off here in the Minnesota zones. One back by the Wild. They will bank it off the boards trying to get it to center. Tarasenko then back over to Nelson. Trennan. Goes up in the air and out of play. Camera was frozen. Shots 15-7 in favor of the Avalanche. Is Makar out? Makar is playing, yeah. Face-off coming up at center ice. Drury versus McCarron. Face-off won by Minnesota. Hey, thank you, Frey Puppy. I appreciate it, brother. Your TV was stolen. Oh, I hope you get your TV back, bro. I appreciate the $2 dono, man. Thank you. Battling for it down low here in the Minnesota corner. Here's McCarron. Backhanded off the boards, trying to get it to center. Tarasenko fighting with Blackenberg. Colorado takes it back. It's O'Connor. A shot. Saved by Wallstead. Down low now, battling for it. Kelly alongside Urov. Thrown up top, then stretch pass for Trennan, who breaks it into the Avalanche end. Trennan, battling for on the right side, trying to throw a pass up top. Grab back then by Urov. Up to the point then, shot from Hunt is blocked. Bogosian back over to Hunt. Hunt to Trennan to drive, and that one's just wide there of Wedgwood. Boldy gets it back from Minnesota. Cross-ice pass then to Johansson. Johansson. Up top then Hunt. Hunt to Johansson, fires it. That one's blocked by Landeskog and slides all the way back into the Minnesota zone. Here's Hunt. Back over then to Bogosian. Zach Bogosian on the right side, then Hunt up to Quinn Hughes, broken up then by the Avalanche. Here's Natchez a shot. Fan on that puck. And it slides back down into the corner. Colorado regains control, though. Johansson steals it at center ice. Grab back then by Bogosian. They'll move it through the neutral zone. approaching the final minute of play here in the opening period. Blackenberg off the boards then for McKinnon. Nathan McKinnon regroups now in the Avalanche zone. Drops it back for Blackenberg. Cleared off the boards. Ahead then for Lehkonen. Lehkonen up top. Shot from Blackenberg is blocked in front. Now Faber gets it back from Minnesota. Broken up by the Avalanche. Faber gets it right back, though, into the zone. Will fire it around behind the net. Back over then for Foligno. Foligno up top to Quinn Hughes. 35 seconds to go. Hughes a shot tipped in front and wide. Foligno battling for it alongside McKinnon. Some cheers here from the Avalanche crowd. Foligno back down low then for Sturm. Sturm up top to Faber. Back over for Hughes. Hughes trying to get around Lehkonen. 15 seconds remaining. Foligno waits. Shoots it. Glove by Wedgwood. Just the 8th shot of the game there for Minnesota. We'll be live tomorrow for both games. Cale Makar returns. Looks like he went to the locker room. Makar is back on the ice. So he is okay. I didn't even realize he left. I didn't hear anything on the screen. Shots are 16-9. Face-off coming up here now. It's going to be in the Colorado zone. It'll be Hartman who will take the draw against Nelson. The face-off is won by Minnesota. Kaprizov on the right side fires one on. It goes down low to the corner. Now less than 10 to go. Hartman a shot off the side of the net. And that'll pretty much do it for the opening period. End of the opening period here in Colorado. And I thought after it was 3-0 Avalanche that this game would not really be that entertaining the rest of the way. But no. Minnesota comes back and scores 2. And it is now a 3-2 hockey game here after 20 minutes of play. That being said, folks, it is intermission time. Go get a snack. Go get a drink. Do what you got to do. We'll be back for period number 2 momentarily. This is the countdown till the second. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. We are just a little bit over 80 subs away from 6,600. So be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you are new. But what a period that was. 5 goals scored. Whoever plays bets for over 5.5 goals, it looks like you're gonna hit that. Oh, man. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. It helps out with the engagement, brings more people into the wonderful commentary. All right. Let me update the all-time stat sheet. Sorry, guys, was taking care of something really quick. Gonna make a clip of the Malinsky goal. I didn't like a lot of my calls in that period. Iffy. So, I like the Malinsky one. It was okay. Usually the first goal of the game is probably my best call a lot of the time. There's going to be that one guy who says they're all bad. I know. I know. All right. Loading up the chat again. How's the poll looking? I didn't even look. 68 votes, 54% in favor of the Wild. Out of snacks? Oh, that sucks. Mackenzie Blackwood is why the Avalanche are only up by 1. Blackwood's not even in net. It's Wedgwood in net. Wedgwood's in net for the Avs. Scott Wedgwood is in net. Unless if I've been wrong the entire game, I think I'd know if it was Blackwood. No, Wedgwood's in net. 778 for Wedgwood, 813 for Wallstead. That looks fun. Yeah, lots of hitting too. Face off here is own zone. Here's Natchez. Avalanche in their own zone. Here's Natchez. Natchez carries it in, looks for options. Marty Natchez up top, cross his pass. Malinsky shot. He scores. Is that their backup? Yeah, Blackwood is their backup. Wedgwood's their starter. Yeah, I mean, again, like the one goal, it is what it is. I mean, again, we knew this would be a high-scoring affair, I thought this would be a low-scoring affair. I'm a little bit shocked that that we have 5 goals in the opening period, but I think it'll calm down. Sometimes periods like this happen where there's a lot of goals in a certain period on both sides, and then all of a sudden it calms down. So I think that's what we're going to see here in this second period. We may not even see a goal at all in this middle frame. I think it's going to be a lot more calmed down because, again, sometimes it's common in the first period of a game, things get out of hand, and that might be a little bit of what happened here in this one. By the Avalanche in their own zone. Here's Natchez. Natchez carries it in, looks for options. Marty Natchez up top, cross his pass. Malinsky shot. He scores. Marty Natchez up top, cross his pass. Malinsky shot. He scores. Sam Malinsky opens up the scoring. Yeah, Minnesota ain't giving up either. They're a good team too. And the Avalanche lead 1-0. All right, finally got that done. Could I recap the goals? Sure. Sam Malinsky opened up the scoring. Nice little cross-ice pass from Marty Natchez. Then Jack Drury, off of a Jake Middleton turnover, made it 2-0 Colorado. And then Lehkonen on the power play, and a pretty disastrous defensive play for the Wild, made it 3-0 Avalanche. And you got to that point where it's like, oh man, this game might be like getting out of hand here. But then Marcus Johansson comes from down low in the corner, moves to center, and fires a shot on the right glove side of Wedgwood to make it a 3-1 game. And then Ryan Hartman, just over a minute later, off of a loose puck, fires one on Wedgwood. The puck just trickles into the back of the net, and it's 3-2 after 20 minutes. Yeah, that 60 seconds was rough for sure, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's only a 1-goal hockey game. Here again, sometimes periods like that, they happen where it's just like it gets out of hand and there's a lot of goals being scored. Defense is not exactly the greatest. It happens. What's up, Michael? How we doing, bro? Good to see you. Now you want snacks? Yeah, man, go get a snack. All right, got about 10 minutes to go here until the start of the second period, so stick around, guys. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new, of course. Be sure to like the stream as well. Thinks we have much more offense to come. Yeah, we could. These are two highly offensive teams. We definitely could. All right. Do I know if Minnesota has been in Denver for a couple of days or if they just got to town? If I had to guess, they've been there for a little bit. If I had to guess, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know, to be honest with you. All right, still got about 8 minutes to go here until the start of period number 2. Stick around, everybody. All right. Thoughts on the Oilers' first round exit? On a level, I'm surprised. On a level, I'm not. I mean, again, like that team had a lot of flaws. They were an average team with average expectations. It was a really disappointing year for them. Watching them the entire year, they just didn't look like the Oilers that I knew or that we knew. So, yeah, really disappointed on their exit for sure. I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back, guys. It's going to be a great series. I agree. All right, I have returned. Sorry about that, guys. Use bathroom quick. Whew. All right, period number 2 coming up here in about 4 minutes or so. Stick around, guys. What's the best game day food? I don't really have an answer to that. I'm a big pizza guy. Oh man. Always going to the bathroom? Shut up, Michael. Shut up, Michael. I'm drinking a lot of water here, all right? Drinking a lot of water during these streams. Avalanche need to stop playing bad defense. Yeah, Burns. Yeah, not a great game from Burns so far. He had a rough play at the end of that one. Alex Newhook. First goal in the commentary. Shit. Just now getting updating this. All right. Like pizza for game day food? Yeah. Pizza's a great choice. All right, second period coming up in just a moment, guys. Stick around. Second period coming up in just a moment. Alrighty, everyone, let's get ready for the start of period number 2 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. First period recap. Goals were scored by Sam Malinsky, Jack Drury, Arturi Lehkonen, Marcus Johansson, and Ryan Hartman through 20 minutes of play. Getting set for period number 2 coming up here now in just a matter of seconds. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. It helps out with the engagement. Brings more people into the wonderful commentary. And we are ready to get started here with period number 2. Face-off won by Minnesota. Kaprizov, a shot on there is blocked. Hartman battling forward alongside Lehkonen. Played ahead then by Nathan MacKinnon. Oh, really, Michael? I'll have to go take a look. I don't really use my main Instagram that much. I just kind of use my personal one at this point. I just don't have time for it. Whistle blown dead here for an offsides at 19:39. And it looks like we're going to have a Wild power play coming up here now in just a moment. With a little over 21 seconds gone, so Colorado penalty here. Minnesota will head to the power play. And that's a massive opportunity there for Minnesota. And yeah, Lehkonen does get Hartman there pretty good with a hooking call there. So that'll result in a Wild power play to start out this second period. Face-off coming up here now in the Avalanche zone is won back by Minnesota. Here's Boldy, who will dump it off the boards. Up top then for Kaprizov. Kaprizov to Zuccarello, pass to center, broken up, and Avalanche will force it into the neutral zone. Quinn Hughes gets it back then for Minnesota. Here's Hughes, who will break it out through center. Quinn Hughes now on the right side, up top then for Zuccarello. Pass in the air, goes back to center. Matt Zuccarello gets it back then for Minnesota. The Wild already had power play earlier in the game. They had no shots on it. They were 0 for 1. Faber, down low in the Colorado zone. Faber back over then for Zuccarello. Boldy, right side then for Zuccarello. Matt Zuccarello now looking for options. Pass up top then for Boldy. Boldy will play it below the line. Up top Hughes to Boldy. Matt Boldy, top of the circle. Down low then Hughes in front. Kaprizov a chance. Denied by Wedgwood. And he will cover up. Good save there by Scott Wedgwood, who hasn't had a ton of opportunities here in this period to make some saves and build up his save percentage. I'll have to take a look at that, Michael. Maybe I'll take a look at that in the intermission. Face-off coming up in the Avalanche zone. It'll be Nelson versus Boldy. Face-off is a tie-up in the Avalanche zone. It's won back by Minnesota. Hughes battling forward alongside Nelson. Boldy. Down low then for Kaprizov. Kulak on the right side then for Kelly. Will dump it off the boards. It's kept in just slightly by Minnesota. Hughes down the right side. He'll loop it back around. Top of the circle. Less than 40 to go on the power play. Here's Zuccarello. Up top then for Boldy. Boldy a shot. And that one goes wide there of Wedgwood. Quinn Hughes gets it back for Minnesota. Hughes up top then for Faber. Faber to Hughes. Pass in front. Kaprizov a chance. Save rebounds there. And back down low to the corner. Boldy. Up top for Brock Faber. Faber. Tipped there wide. Now Kelly battling forward alongside Quinn Hughes. Time winding down on the Minnesota power play. Burns trying to get it free then. Back over for Natchez, who will dump it down low into the Minnesota end. Power play will come to a close. Only one shot. Here's Lehkonen. Gets it back for the Avalanche straight out of the box. Stolen back then by Minnesota. Try to get a pass over then for Johansson. Taze. Off the boards then. Will dump it down low into the Minnesota end. Here's Wallstead. Back to Middleton. Broken up then by Natchez. Up top then. Here's Malinsky. A shot saved by Wallstead. Runs in front. They jab at that puck, but Wallstead gets the cover through the traffic. Another good opportunity there for the Avalanche. Definitely a bit of a frustrating game here for Jesper Wallstedt. Hasn't been bad in this one, but allowing those 3 goals, obviously not pretty. He's been better since, though. Nearly up to 20 saves in the night. Faceoff is won back then by the Wild. Middleton battling forward alongside Colton. Here's Waugh, who's knocked down there by Middleton. Minnesota trying to play it to center. They will do so successfully. Malinsky off the boards. Dump back down low into the Wild end. Middleton battling forward alongside Waugh. Nick Waugh gets it back for the Avalanche. Here's Colton, a shot saved by Wallstedt. Tarasenko now gets it back for the Wild. Through center, Jakob Trenin. Cross-ice pass to Tarasenko. Tarasenko with some room. He's broken up there. And here come the Avalanche the other way. Kadri into the zone. Cross-ice pass. Broken up there in the Wild end. Now McCarron will take it through center. He'll dump it down low into the Avalanche zone. Here's Makar. Ahead then for Nichushkin. A shot. Saved by Wallstedt. Everyone's in front. And clear back down low. Nichushkin. Right side then for Blackenberg. A shot. That one's blocked as well. Sturm. Fighting for on the right side. Minnesota will chip it off the boards. Back to center. Foligno. Clears it into the Avalanche end. It's a 5-man battle for it in the corner. Foligno gets it back for the Wild. Wraparound chance. Denied there by Wedgwood. Makar. Ahead then now for Nichushkin. Nichushkin, cross-ice pass. Blackenberg, a chance! He scores! What a play! Nick Blackenberg. And the Avalanche have regained a 2-goal lead. What a play. And it was all set up by Valeri Nichushkin. Nick Blackenberg, his first goal of the playoffs. And that's a guy who they acquired in a trade with Nashville earlier in the year. And it's now a 4-2 lead for the Avalanche. Wow. Assisted by Nichushkin and Cale Makar. And the Avalanche have regained their 2-goal lead with 15:44 to go in the second period. Faceoff won by the Wild. Zuccarello will dump it down low into the Avalanche zone. Here's Hughes. Back over then to Kaprizov. Broken up then by Colorado. Down low now in the corner, Natchez. Trying to bank it off the boards to center. Natchez. Battling for now alongside Faber. Puck will slide in there on Wedgwood. He'll make the save. Now Burns. Will dump it down low into the Minnesota end. McKinnon. Pass in front, broken up then by Minnesota. Here's Hughes. Through center then for Hartman. Score is right here, Anthony. Scores right here. Here's Kulak, who will carry it through center. He'll backhand it down low into the Minnesota zone. Nichushkin on the right side in front. O'Connor, a chance, is broken up there. Boldy gets it back then for the Wild. Johansson will dump it down low into the Avalanche zone. Cale Makar will clear it back into the Minnesota end. Wallstedt will play it off the boards. And back to center. Urov dumps it down low. Boldy takes it around the net. Then he falls to the ground, battling for it alongside Taze. Jack Drury there fighting for it as well. Shots are 21-11 in favor of the Avalanche. About 6 minutes gone here. Here's Makar. Back over then for O'Connor. Down low in the corner, Bogosian. Back over to McCarron, who will dump it off the boards then to center. Grab back then by O'Connor for the Avalanche. Here's Malinsky. Cross-ice pass then to O'Connor. Puck slides all the way back down low into the Minnesota zone for an icing at 13:45. Thank you, Ammo. I try my best. Hopefully, eventually it will be. I'm trying to become a broadcaster in the future. This is just my way of getting some practice in. Thank you all for tuning in. Please subscribe down below if you're new. If you enjoy the live commentary streams, it'd be greatly appreciated. Stay tuned for our round one preview tomorrow between Anaheim and Vegas. Here's Hughes. Dumping it down low in the corner. That battling for on the right side is McCarron. McCarron. Back to Tarasenko. Michael McCarron stolen back to by O'Connor. O'Connor ahead then for Colton. Ross Colton through center. It's offsides. Some boos here from the Colorado crowd after that. We'll step aside. 13:28 to go here in period number 2. We're a little under halfway through. It's 4-2 Avalanche. Just seems like it's one of those games. Nick Suzuki finally scored tonight. Yup. Off a little deflection there, too. Here's about another answer or two. Yeah, bro, we'll see if the Wild can answer back. They definitely need to find a way to answer here. All right, still in commercial break, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Water jug is crazy. Yeah, bro. Big jug. I commented. It's my second game of the day. Tuesday is the draft evening. You are covering. Hope Calgary pulls the first pick. Yep, we'll be live for the draft lottery on Tuesday. Thank you, F. Nord. Yeah, man. Hopefully this is just the start. All right, back here in Colorado, it's a 4-2 lead for the Avalanche. Here, a little bit under halfway through the opening period of this one. Really frustrating game here a bit for Minnesota. There's just been some poor plays here off the rush that Colorado's converted on. 2 goals from the defense for the Avalanche. Blackenberg and Malinsky with goals as well. 2 unlikely heroes there. Face-off outside of the Minnesota zone is won back then by the Wild. About 7 minutes gone here in this second period. Trennan head to Tarasenko, comes in, he scores! What a play by Vlad Tarasenko, and the Wild have no quit. It's a 1-goal game again. Those pesky Wild. Oh, my Lord. Where do I commentate? Nowhere in particular right now. I do work for a pro hockey team right now, but their season's over. Not really anywhere in particular currently, but hopefully next year or the following year, I hope to. What a goal by Vladimir Tarasenko. He puts it on the one hand past Wedgwood. And don't look now, it's a 4-3 hockey game. What a pass by Trennan. Tarasenko, his second of the postseason and his second straight game as well. And the Wild seem to be keeping on here. It's a 4-3 hockey game. And yeah, like don't look now, it's not over yet. These pesky Wild. Face-off one back by Minnesota. Faber will bank it off the boards and back into the Avalanche zone. Kaprizov fighting now with Makar. Down low in the corner then, McKinnon on the right side to Natchez, who will clear it back to center, back into the Minnesota end. Wallstead off the boards then to center. Quinn Hughes takes it back then for Minnesota. Hughes, cross-ice pass. Hartman will dump it down low into the Avalanche end. Cross-ice pass there, broken up by Colorado. Lehkonen ahead to Natchez, who will try and take it through center. Zuccarello drops it back then for Quinn Hughes. Here's Kaprizov on the right side, broken up by Natchez. Kaprizov recovers and dumps it down low into the Avalanche end. Shots 24-13 in favor of Colorado. Here's Tays to Makar. Backhanded off the boards, then Landeskog battling forward here on the right side. Cleared all the way back down into the Avalanche zone. That'll be another icing. Minnesota keeping on, answering back. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Face-off in the Avalanche or in the Minnesota zone, won by the Wild. Johansson off the boards then for Boldy. Boldy, spinorama move there, knocked off that puck, clears it back then to Johansson. Johansson battling for now of Landeskog. Nichushkin will get it to center. Cross-ice pass for Kulak is broken up. Valerie Nichushkin into the Minnesota zone. He'll get around Spurgeon. Nichushkin below the line. Up top, Kulak a shot. And that one goes wide there of Wallstead. Taking a stick there in the face was Malinsky. Hopefully he's okay. No penalty though. Middleton into the zone. Carries it down low behind the net. Back over then for Johansson. Clears it off the boards. Puck will slide back to center. Damon Hunt gets it for Minnesota. Hunt will give it over then for Bogosian as his stick shatters on the ice. He'll recover though and give it to Hunt with his foot. Sturm battling for on the right side with O'Connor. Nico Sturm won a Stanley Cup last year with the Florida Panthers. Here's Bogosian, a shot. That one's blocked as well. Burns off the boards then Blackenberg. On the right side, then Kelly battling forward alongside Bogosian on the right side. Trying to get that one free. Puck will slide down low then behind the Avalanche net. Burns getting to it there for the Avalanche. He will throw it to center. Approaching the halfway mark of the game in the period. Here's Drury. Up top, Makar. Wait, shoots it. That one's blocked. Minnesota gets it back down low in the corner. Foligno. Cleared off the boards on the right side then for Makar. Pass over is broken up. Here's Sturm getting it back then for Minnesota. Nico Sturm into the zone then for Minnesota. Sturm shot on, saved by Wedgwood. Devon Tays will recover here for the Avalanche. Pass to O'Connor is too far ahead. Back in the Minnesota zone, it's Faber who will get it to center. Now a 4-on-3. McCarron into the zone. Shoots it. That one goes wide there of Wedgwood. Tarasenko. Down low then for Trennan. Broken up then by the Avalanche. Makar to Kadri, who will dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. Here's Nick Waugh in the corner for Colorado. Waugh. Right side then for Colton. A shot. Saved there by Wallstead. Here's Waugh back in the corner yet again. 9.5 minutes to go in the second. Burns. Battling forward up top then. It's cleared away by McCarron back into the Colorado zone. Shots are 26-14 in favor of the Avalanche. The Avs are putting on the pressure. But it's only a one-goal hockey game. Here's Hartman into the zone. Pass up top. Kaprizov denied there by Wedgwood. McKinnon battling forward alongside Hartman. Here's Middleton up top. Spurgeon a shot. Saved by Wedgwood as well. Now Middleton another chance. And that one goes wide. Hartman back down low in the corner. Kaprizov pass in front. And a big chance there for Hartman. And he fired it wide. Lehkonen battling forward alongside McKinnon. Makar will get it back then for the Avalanche. Natchez with speed. Into the zone now looking for options. Will backhand it into the corner. Zuccarello. Intercepted then by the Avalanche. McKinnon chipped off the boards. Colorado keeps it in. McKinnon fires one. And it goes back into the Avalanche zone. It will not be an icing. Here's Blackenberg. He'll hold it behind the net then for Colorado. Blackenberg chipped off the boards and back into the Minnesota end. Nelson up top then for Blackenberg. Shot on, saved by Wallstead, who will cover up with 8:17 to go. Not a lot of whistles here, but a lot of action. Never a dull moment. You're definitely right about that, Jane. It is a one-goal hockey game here in Colorado in Game 1. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below. Of course, like the stream as well. It helps out with the engagement, brings more people into the wonderful commentary. It'd be greatly appreciated. Hell of a game we got here so far. 7 goals here in this second, here halfway through this hockey game. Not too surprised either. What time is it? It's 10:31 where I am. All right. Go Blackhawks. Who do I want to win? I wouldn't mind seeing the Wild come out on top, but really I don't mind. Any team I'm fine with seeing win, to be honest. Any team I'm okay with. Maybe going to overtime? Yeah, bro, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's been a pretty decently even hockey game. Face-off coming up here now in the Minnesota zone. Oh, it's not 18-17. It's 8-17. Sorry. Tays will clear it down low into the corner. Nelson behind the net then for the Avalanche. Here's Nichushkin up top then for Tays, who will dump it down low into the corner. Middleton fighting alongside Nelson. At the point, Makara shot. And it's blocked in front. Middleton will dump it around the boards then on the right side. Johansson will dump it to center. There was Boldy, but he's offsides. Clock was a little bit off. My apologies. We'll be live tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be live for Philadelphia, Carolina, round 2, game 2. And Vegas versus Anaheim, round 2, game 1. That's tomorrow. So stay tuned. That's coming up tomorrow here on the channel. 7 goals in this game total. Face-off is won back by Minnesota. Hughes will dump it into the Colorado end. Blackenberg now fighting with Foligno. Marcus Foligno down low in the corner. Tied up there with Nick Waugh, who I've really liked in this series. Foligno fighting with Blackenberg. Getting it back then is Yurov. Yurov up top then for Hughes. Quinn Hughes up top. Comes in, shoots it. He scores! Quinn Hughes has tied the game. His 3rd of the playoffs. And with 7:17 to go in the second period, the Wild overcome a 3-0 deficit. And we're tied at 4. And Wedgwood was calling for something. We'll see if they challenge this or something. But it is now a 4-4 hockey game. Oh, my Lord. Talk about cinema. Quinn Hughes ties up the game on the 16th shot for Minnesota. Talk about just 2 purely offensive teams racking up the goals tonight. And we got a hockey game, folks. Here's Kaprizov into the zone for Minnesota. Broken up there by the Wild. Ryan Hartman on the right side dumps it down low. It's denied there by Wedgwood. Through center now with speed. Lehkonen. Cross-ice pass for Kulak. McKinnon. Back down low then. Brock Faber battling for it. Hughes will pick it up then for the Wild. Kaprizov carries it through center. Cross-ice pass then for Hartman. Back down into the Avalanche end. Here's Makar. Through center. Broken up then by Minnesota. Kaprizov will dump it to center. McKinnon trying to get that one back on the right side. He will clear it into the Wild end. What's the save percentage, am I right? Quinn Hughes in the Wild zone. The primary assist goes to Yurov. And a whistle blown dead as the puck goes out of play in the Avalanche zone. Well, this is why they acquired Quinn Hughes, right? For him to contribute, for him to score in those big moments, to rack up those shots, and rack up that ice time defensively. This is why they acquired him. They gave him a lot for him, and he's really working out for them so far. And he has tied this game up at 4. Face-off here won by Minnesota. They will get it to center. And a whistle blown dead at 6:10. For an offsides, I'm pretty sure. Why is my clock so far behind? 5th career postseason goal for Hughes. 3 of them coming in this year's playoffs. Didn't really make the playoffs that much with Vancouver. Hence, you know. Face-off coming up here now at center. Colorado will dump this one down low into the Minnesota zone. Wallstead. Banked off the boards, then Faber. Ahead then to McCarron. Grabbed back then by O'Connor, who will dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. Bogosian on the right side fighting now with Spurgeon. It's a tie-up here down low. O'Connor trying to get this one free on the right side. Burns. Pass back to Kulak. A shot. And that one goes wide there of Wallstead. Turnover here forced. A shot from Kelly is gloved by Wallstead as well. The goals have not been short here. 5:38 to go in the second period. Quinn Hughes has tied the game for the Wild. And man, this has been a fun one. Thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. It helps out with the engagement, brings more people into the wonderful commentary. Got 230 people in here. That's great to see. This game has been absolutely insane. Have a reason to turn the game back on. You turn it off? What kind of fan are you? Just a joke. Shots 28-17 in favor of Colorado. Let's take a look at the goaltender stats. I'm sure you guys would just love to take a look at those currently. Jesper Wallstedt, 24 saves on 28 shots, .857. That is way better than Scott Wedgwood's .765, 13 saves on 17 shots for Wedgewall. Not really being a wall tonight. He's more like a window. And same with Wallstedt, actually. Wallsted's more like a window. Both goalies are like that, though. I don't know if that's on the goalies, though. Just saying. It was a joke. It was a joke. Oh, man. All right, face-off coming up here in the Minnesota zone. Avalanche win the draw. Landeskog down low in the corner. Gabe Landeskog battling for it on the right side. Now McCarron up top. Intercepted by the Avalanche. Shot on there by Nelson. Thrown to center. That's a good analogy, Brandon. I like that. Here's McKinnon. McKinnon will backhand it down low then. Tarasenko takes it back for Minnesota. They'll get it to center. Avalanche will regroup. Taves to Makar. At center now, Gabe Landeskog. On the right side, Yurov battling for it. Kadri there fighting as well. 5 minutes to go in the second period. Makar. Cross-ice pass to Taves, who will dump it down low into the Minnesota end. At the point now, Johansson gets it back then for the Wild. He'll clear it down into the Avalanche zone. Here's Yurov. Battling for it alongside Waugh. Picked back up then by Boldy, who keeps it in ever so slightly. Down low then Johansson. Up top, Yurov. Puck is cleared all the way back down into the Minnesota zone. Wallstead. Below the line then Faber. Faber then for Johansson off the boards then for Hartman. Hartman will get around Waugh. Cross-ice pass then to Faber, who will carry it into the zone. Back to Kaprizov. Kaprizov up top to Boldy. Comes in, shoots it. Saved by Wedgwood, who covers it up. Scary thing is Wall has to face a lot more shots, and he's a rookie, awfully impressive. Yeah, I think Wallstead's been good tonight. The goals haven't really been on him. Neither with Wedgwood, to be honest. The defense is just non-existent for both teams. Yeah, I know, right, Michael? Step away for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden it's a 4-4 hockey game. This game is on crack. It's fun, though. I enjoy the games like this. At least I do. Maybe you guys don't, because you're fans of these teams. Face-off won by the Avalanche. Here's Taves now breaking it out through center. Now McKinnon gets to the D, and he's broken up there in front. That's a penalty on Minnesota. Power play coming up for Colorado. McKinnon was hooked by Brock Faber, and the Avalanche will get their second power play of the game. Brain fart. Avalanche are 1 for 1 on the power play. Lehkonen scored the power play goal in the opening period. You may forget about that because there's been like 100 goals scored in this game. Face-off coming up here now in the Minnesota zone. It'll be Trennan versus McKinnon. Face-off, McCarron versus McKinnon. Why did I think that was Trennan? Face-off won by Minnesota. They'll dump it down low into the Avalanche end. Here's Makar. Makar will drop it back then for Natchez. Marty Natchez will drop it over then for McKinnon, who breaks it into the zone. McKinnon, he falls onto the ice, and Foligno will dump it down low. I don't know if he was tripped or what. Here's Makar. Through center. Drop back then for Natchez. Natchez to Makar. Makar to Landeskog. Poke checked away, and McCarron will dump it to center. Here's Makar on the Avalanche end. Cale Makar trying to get around Foligno. Now Landeskog up top to McKinnon, broken up. Wild will take advantage. It's a 2-on-0. The Foligno brothers come in. They score! Marcus Foligno on the Foligno connection. Shorthanded goal. It's 5-4 Minnesota. Good Lord. What are we doing, Nathan McKinnon? What are we doing? McKinnon turned over the puck. He just stopped playing. Look at the replay. McKinnon, they throw the puck up to him. He misses the pass. And he's just like, oh, what? Oh, my God. And the Foligno bros come in there and do a backhand five. Oh, my God. Wow. It was the two Foligno brothers on the breakaway. Oh, my God. It's a 5-4 lead for Minnesota, their first lead in this series. Here's Brock Nelson in the Minnesota zone now. Nichushkin battling for it down low in the corner. Valeri Nichushkin battling for it alongside Hunt. Avalanche are still on the power play, by the way. Here's Boldy in the short end of break. Here's Sturm, who dumps it down low into the Colorado end. Here's Nelson. Dumps it back down low into the Minnesota zone. Malinsky. Up top then for Taze. Taze to the point then for Colorado. Back to Malinsky. Malinsky. 10 seconds to go on the power play. Malinsky to Nichushkin. A shot. And that one goes wide. Here's Malinsky. At the point. Right side now, Taze. To Nichushkin. Nichushkin. Up top, Taze. A shot. They score! What is this game? Devon Taze has tied the game at 5. Oh my God. What is this game right now? Five goals in the first period, 5 goals in the second period. This game is on crack. And I think it was tipped in front by Brock Nelson, so he may get credit for the goal. We'll see. Can't really tell, but oh man, just goals galore here tonight. It's a 5-5 hockey game. Here's Faber. Battling for it alongside Kelly. Faber over then for Quinn Hughes. Brock Faber, cross-ice pass then. Will carry it through center. Kaprizov up top for Zuccarello. Shot on there's blocked. O'Connor. Getting it back then for Colorado. Drew O'Connor moves it through center. Chipped all the way back down low into the Minnesota end. Kaprizov now battling for it with Kelly. O'Connor. Fighting in the corner then. Played over them for Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov now a 3-on-2 for Minnesota. Hughes into the zone in front. Johansson saved by Wedgwood. And he'll cover up with 1:11 to go here in the second. This game is absolutely chaos. This game is literally chaos. Oh, my Lord. Face-off here now in the Colorado end is won back then by the Avalanche. Makar will bank it off the boards to center. Hughes will dump it back into the Avalanche zone, approaching the final minute of play in the second period. Marty Natchez through center. Comes into the zone with speed. Natchez up top then for Taze, a shot! And that was denied through the traffic. And Wallstead covers up. Goals galore. Oh, my Lord. Face-off in the Minnesota zone is won by the Wild. They will dump it all the way to center. Landeskog battling for them with Johansson. McKinnon, backhand pass. Grabbed back to by Middleton. Here's Middleton into the zone with 40 to go. Shot from Hartman. Save rebounds there. Denied by Wedgwood as he slides out of his net to make that save. Good Lord. How we feeling, everyone? How are we feeling? Are we at the edge of our seats? Because this game is absolutely incredible. Incredibly insane, to say the least. Face-off coming up in the Colorado zone. 10 goals tonight. And we're not even done the second. Face-off is won back then by Minnesota. Boldy up top then for Quinn Hughes. Hughes to Faber. Faber a shot. That one goes down low to the corner then for Kaprizov. Kaprizov in front. Big save there by Wedgwood. Puck's down in the crease. And Avalanche will get it back to center, or at least they'll try to on the right side. Here's Boldy in front. And a good save there by Wedgwood on Faber. Final 10 seconds tick down. McKinnon will backhand it all the way into the Minnesota zone, and that will conclude an absolutely chaotic second period here in Colorado. Good frickin' Lord. It is a 5-5 hockey game here after 40 minutes of play. Goals galore here on both sides. And we will step aside. That being said, folks, it is intermission time. Go get a snack. Go get a drink. Go take a nap. Absolutely nuts. Do what you got to do. We'll be back for period number 3 momentarily. Oh, man. All right, this is the countdown till the 3rd. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. We're 5 likes away from 100 likes. Oh, my Lord. How are we feeling, everyone? I got 3 clips I want to make. All right, I am going to go use the bathroom here super quickly. All of those goals make you want to pee my pants. I will be right back in just a moment, guys. Be right back in a moment. All right, I have returned. Sorry about that, guys. Use the bathroom super quickly. Good Lord. Yeah, I know, right, Juan? Watch this be a 1-goal game. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked, honestly. You missed a lot, Jake. You missed a lot. Yeah, new record for fewest shots to win a playoff game, 9. That game has been insane as well. The one game had no goals. This one we can't get a... can't stop. Need some OT? Yeah, bro, I feel ya. We definitely need some overtime. Sounds like a great idea. Thank you, Mr. Drosiak. Sure, I'm sure I'm going to get hired eventually. Not there yet, though. Casually eating peanut butter? What? Minnesota 21-20 in overtime. Yep. Looking like a football score. Oh my goodness. I got 3 clips I want to post from that period. I agree, Bo. I agree. Why is Minnesota giving up so many goals? It's a sloppy game from both sides. Both teams are playing really sloppy hockey. Both sides are playing incredibly sloppy hockey right now. But it's fun. It's still a fun game. I'm not complaining at all. I'm still enjoying myself. This isn't on either of the goaltenders either. Both the goalies are playing well. They are. Both the goalies are playing solid. The defense has been really sloppy on both sides. I mean, like the fact that it's 5-5 after 40 minutes of play, good lord. Eck will be back for game 3. All right. Yeah, I was wondering what his timetable was for return. This is after the second period. GG. After the second period. Who's going to win tonight? Honestly, dude, it could go either way, Anthony. It could really go either way. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, both teams, with the way that goals are flowing right now, it seems like both teams have a real chance. Through all of these goals, Matt Boldy, 0 points. Whoever has Boldy in their playoff pool or anything like that, I'm sure you're fuming right now. Boldy, 0 points. McKinnon, only 1 point. It's just one of those games. One of those games. Seven 6 tonight. No defense on the other side of the ice. Yep. Series could go either way. I agree. Getting it back, Dennis Urov. Urov up top then for Hughes. When Hughes up top, comes in, shoots it, he scores! Comes in, shoots it, he scores! Quinn Hughes has tied the game. His third of the playoffs. And with 7:17 Time for you to mention altitude and fatigue. Yep. Scoavs. Sorry, David. Where are you texting at? Or Davey. Davey, where's your chats at? I don't see your chats. Can I tell you the hits? Yeah. Hits are 21-19 in favor of Colorado. Hang on, Davey. I think I might know why. Your chats might be getting held for review. That might be what's happening. Hang on a second. Did Nelson get that goal? No, it was Taze. Taze had the goal. I didn't see you send a chat, Davey. I apologize. I wasn't ignoring you. Don't worry. I'm also multitasking here. Minnesota's only been past the second round once. Well, there's a second time for everything. Watch Nelson play in high school, just a few miles from you. Nice, Scott. That's cool. Yeah, no, Nelson did not get that goal, Davey. It was Taze. I apologize. I was not ignoring you. Or wasn't trying to ignore you. Big guns are about to activate for Colorado. Yeah, the crazy part is that a lot of these goals haven't come from their big guns. They have 5 goals and none of them have come from McKinnon or Natchez. Or Landeskog or Nichushkin. Lehkonen has a goal. It's been a lot of the fourth liners. 3 goals of the 5 for the Avalanche have come from their defensemen as well. Just nuts. Missed my mouth a little bit. Where's Hughes from? I forget. Michigan? Is that where Hughes is from? Michigan, yeah, I figured it was Michigan. I agree, Frey Puppy. Some Mad fans saying the Minnesota would be an easier sweep than the Kings. That's not true. That's definitely not true. Disagree with that. The Avs are beatable? Totally. Any team's beatable. Did I restock any of those graham crackers? Nope. No graham crackers for you. Sometimes you have bad games, Mr. Go. Sometimes you have bad games. Who am I cheering for? Really nobody. I'm not going to lie. I'm just kind of commentating the game for fun. I wouldn't mind seeing Minnesota win, but not really rooting for a particular team. To be honest, not really rooting for a particular team. Thank you, Brian. Yeah. Got some nice Avs jerseys back there. Or nice jerseys from the two. Now Landeskog up top to McKinnon, broken up. Wild will take advantage. It's a 2-on-0. The Foligno brothers come in. They score! Marcus Foligno on the Foligno connection. Shorthanded goal. It's 5-4 Minnesota. Good Lord. We're about to start the third period's coming up in 3 minutes. And I've only gotten through 2 of the clips that I wanted to do. Heard that ice hockey was invented in Michigan and basketball was invented in Ontario. I thought hockey was invented in Canada. Rooting for Minnesota in the West. Nice. All right. Ugh. My computer is about to die. Hockey was invented in Norway. I don't really know, actually. Thank you, says Dad. Yeah, I've had the Nordiques app for a while. Wild got to stay out of the box in the third. Yep. That was the problem that really affected Minnesota in the series against Dallas. New York's neck for the Wild is a big deal. Yep, definitely. Nordic round 1 versus the Wild was the battle of my birth state. Nice. Carolina looks solid in the playoffs. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. All right, third period coming up in just a moment. Right now, actually. It's coming up right now. Alrighty, everyone, let's get ready for the start of period number 3 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. Second period recap. Goals were scored. Let's see if I can remember them. Nick Blackenberg, Vladimir Tarasenko, Quinn Hughes, Marcus Foligno, and Devon Tays, adding up to 10 goals after 40 minutes of play. This should be an absolutely insane third period if it's anything like the second. As we get ready for puck drop here at center ice, thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Third period is underway. Back in the Minnesota zone, the Avalanche will dump it down low into the Wild zone. Here's Quinn Hughes. Taking it behind the net then for Minnesota. Off the boards with speed. Faber shoots it. Saved by Wedgwood. Brock Faber trying to throw a pass up top then. Marty Natchez gets it back then for Colorado. He'll throw it to center. Quinn Hughes banks it off the boards back into the Avalanche zone. Here's Devon Tays now getting it back. Tays dumps it into the Minnesota end. Quinn Hughes now down low in the Wild zone. Cross-ice pass. You're off. Back over then for Brock Faber. Faber for Boldy. Pass up top then for Johansson. Johansson now fighting with Kulak in the corner. Here's Nelson. Battling for it on the right side with Urov. Boldy trying to play it to center. Malinsky ahead then for Kulak. Nichushkin deeks through the zone then for Landeskog. Landeskog getting around the D then. Boldy battling for in the corner. Avalanche fans want a penalty. They will not get one. Urov to center. Dumps it down low into the Colorado zone. Malinsky will hold it here in the Avalanche end. Wouldn't be shocked if we see Colorado and Minnesota play a little bit more defensive. Avalanche will dump this one into the Minnesota zone. I know, right? You guys like the shirt? On the right side, Wild get it back. Tarasenko cross-ice pass to Bogosian. A shot. That one's blocked there. Puck was in front there. Stolen back then by Colorado, who will try and play it to center. It's kept in, though, by the Avs. Trennan battling for it alongside Blackenberg. Down low in the corner now, McCarron. Up top then for Hunt. Hunt to Bogosian. Fires it wide. I think the Avalanche will win. I'm picking the Avs. Here's Colton. Into the Minnesota zone. Colton shoots it. That one's blocked. Up top then, O'Connor a drive. And that one's denied. Foligno gets it back then for Minnesota. Hunt to Bogosian. Bogosian will clear this one to center. Now Foligno battling for it alongside Kulak. It is still tied up here in the corner. Jack Drury then for the Avalanche. On the right side, Kelly fighting with Faber. It is still tied up down low in the corner. Shots are now 30-26. Holy crap. Here's O'Connor. Trying to get around Hughes. O'Connor gets there in front, and the puck goes up and wide there on Wedgwood. Faber to Foligno. Right side then Drury. Pass up top then. Takes a drive. And that one's denied there by Wedgwood. Or Wallstead. Damn it. I know I'm gonna be making that error so much. Couple chances there for Minnesota. And the Avs. Shots now 32, I believe, to 26, but I'll put 31, unless it's 31 on my screen. Face off again here in the Minnesota zone. 16:43 to go in the third period. We are tied at 5 apiece. Could this game get any more chaotic? Face off one with the Avs. Here's McCarr. He scores! Cale McCarr adds in on the fun. And it's 6-5 Colorado. All hail Cale. Cale McCarr from Nathan McKinnon. With the way this game's going, the Wild are probably going to tie it up. With the way this game's going. Six-5 Avalanche. Here in this third period, roofs it top corner there on Jesper Wallstead. In a game which has had so many goals scored, the fun keeps on continuing. Kaprizov. Back over then for Ryan Hartman, battling for on the right side then with Tays. Down low now in the corner, McKinnon. Ahead then through center, Lehkonen. Cross-ice pass broken up by the Wild. They wait to get on sides. Middleton will drop it back then for Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov now in the Minnesota zone. Kaprizov will drop it back then for Middleton. Middleton for Spurgeon. Spurgeon will dump it down low into the Colorado end. Now Malinsky trying to chip it off the boards. Here's Kulak. In the Avalanche end. Grab back then by Boldy. Matt Boldy battling forward alongside Landeskog. Yurov to Faber. Cross-ice pass then for Quinn Hughes. Hughes will get around to Chushkin. Hughes with some room. Shoots it. Saved by Wedgwood. Avalanche battling forward now on the right side as Yurov cross-checks Malinsky. Yurov to Faber. Faber to Yurov now on the right side. 4.5 minutes gone. Yurov to Faber up top. Faber a saucer pass then for Hughes. Turnover forced there by the Avalanche. And they will clear it back down into the Wild zone. Shots 33-26 in favor of the Avalanche. Here's Bogosian. Back to McCarron. Cleared back behind the net then by Colorado. Here's Trennan. Battling forward alongside Burns. Up top then, Minnesota will fire one there wide. Now Colton. Back over then to McCarron. Shot on there, save by Wedgwood with the glove. He'll cover up. Plenty of shots from both sides. Over 50 shots here in this hockey game tonight. 11 total goals. Face-off here is won by the Avalanche. They'll bank it off the boards to center. Nick Waugh will dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. Damon Hunt. Through to center. Trennan. Gives it back then for Tarasenko. Tarasenko broken up there. At the point then, Trennan gets it back for Minnesota, who will backhand it down low. Burns on the right side then for Waugh up top. Here's Middleton, a shot. And that one is blocked. Colton, he'll send a break with it the way. It's Kadri into the zone. 1-on-1, a shot. He scores! Nazem Kadri. It's 7-5 Colorado. Two goals in this third period as Kadri got sent on a 1-on-1 the other way. And the Avalanche have now taken a 2-goal lead here in the third period yet again. Back and forth, back and forth. And with the way that goals are being scored in this game, it is not over yet. It is not over yet. I would not be shocked if Minnesota comes back and ties this one up. This game has been absolutely insane. Probably one of the craziest games I've commentated here on the channel. Bogosian in the Minnesota zone will dump it to center. Drury on the right side, grab back then by Foligno, who will carry it down low into the Avalanche zone. On the right side, cleared back down low into the corner, Parker Kelly. Battling forward alongside Hunt. Grab back then by Foligno, who will dump it down low. Drury fighting with Sturm. Avalanche will dump it on the way. It's Colton a drive, and that one's denied there by Wallstead. 13.5 minutes. Here's Makar in the Colorado zone. Back down low here into the Minnesota end. Faber gets it back. Faber. Then for Quinn Hughes, who will dump it down low into the Avalanche zone, icing at 13-18 against Minnesota. This game has been absolutely insane. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. Shots 34-27. Good thing it's a best of game series. Guess the best of 7 game series. Yep. Face off in the Minnesota zone is won back by the Wild. Quinn Hughes. Cross-ice pass then to Ryan Hartman. Colorado will dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. Nate is up top. The McKinnon a shot, and that one goes wide there of Wallstead. Up top, Makar. Forte's a shot. Saved by Wallstead on the right side. McKinnon. Down low then in the corner for Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov will move it through center. Drops it back then. Zuccarello up top for Hartman. A shot off the post and out. Avalanche will take advantage of the 2-on-2. McKinnon into the zone. Comes in. Pass down low. Broken up there by the Wild. What's crazy about this game is that there have been 12 goals scored from 12 different players. Quinn Hughes to Faber. Puck will slide there into the Avalanche end. Burns trying to play that one to center. Battle for down low. A shot. It goes up in the air and back to center. Nichushkin battling for it then with Middleton. Yurov up top then Nichushkin. Down low now back for Lekin. And Avalanche will cycle. Shot from up top. Burns a save. And back down low to the corner. Here's Boldy. Through center. Broken up then by the Avalanche. Lehkonen. Ahead then for Waugh. Pass over. And denied there by Wallstead. As Kadri nearly had his second. Shots 37 to 27. Good Lord. Here's Kadri into the zone. Kadri trying to get around Spurgeon. Broken up then by Minnesota. Hey, Juan, thank you for the $2 dono. I appreciate it. Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you so much. Shot there on Wedgwood. He makes the save. With 11:17 to go. Here in the third period. Game is not over yet. With the way this one's gone so far, I would not be shocked if there's more goals. 12 in total. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. Like the stream as well. It helps out with the engagement, brings more people into the wonderful commentary. Thank you, Jake. Yeah, bro. Donations are never asked for, but they are always appreciated. Thank you, Everett. I appreciate it. Doing the best I can with all of the chaos that's around us in this one. Oh, my Lord. Absolutely nuts. Can the Wild still score? Definitely. Definitely the over tonight, yeah. Hey, Sisdad with a $20 dono. Thank you, Sisdad. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. That means a lot, brother. Thank you for the 20. You're awesome. I don't know if I've gotten a dono that big before. Genuinely. I had JJ deliver me a 20 earlier today. I don't think I've gotten anything more than a 20 before. Thank you, Sisdad. I appreciate it. This game is crazy, and you guys continue to be crazy as well. Face off here now in the Colorado zone. It's Hartman versus Landeskog. Face off won by Minnesota. Kaprizov in front off the post, and just wide was Hartman. Rebounds there. It's in the crease. And back down low, penalty coming up. It's against the Wild. And a power play coming up here for the Wild. Oh, my Lord. Power play coming up for Minnesota. A chance to pull within a goal. Shots in this game just keep on getting crazier. 37 to 29. as the Wild keep putting shots on Wedgwood. And another Minnesota power play coming up. Face off in the Colorado zone as a tie-up. It's won back by Minnesota. Hughes at the point. Back over then for Brock Faber. Faber, down low then to Kaprizov. Kaprizov top of the circle. Shot on there, goes wide off Wedgwood. Up top now Hughes for Minnesota. Hughes to Kaprizov. Kaprizov down low then for Boldy. Boldy to Kaprizov. Up top then Hughes. Back to Kaprizov. Down low now Matt Boldy on the right side. Boldy. Up top then Hughes to Boldy. And that was denied there by Wedgwood. That even got on and cleared down the other way. 30 seconds gone on the power play. Thank you, Andre. Here's Boldy getting around the D. Battling forward alongside Kelly. Up top to Quinn Hughes. Hughes to Kaprizov. Kaprizov on the right side. Down low then Boldy below the line. Boldy to Kaprizov. Here's Boldy up top. Matt Boldy now looking for options. Halfway through the period. Boldy a shot. It's blocked. Rebounds there. Denied as it goes just wide. Kaprizov. Down low in the corner then. Trying to get that one free. Tarasenko stolen back then by the Avalanche, who will dump it back into the Wild zone. 35 seconds to go on the power play. Quinn Hughes into the zone. Back over then to Tarasenko. Stolen back then by the Avalanche, who will dump it into the Wild end. 20 seconds to go here on the Minnesota power play. Shots are 37-31. Time will wind down on the power play. Avalanche will bank it off the boards. It's kept in then by Minnesota. Tarasenko to Hartman. Hartman up top, Brock Faber. And a whistle blown dead here. At 9:07, we have 2 penalties coming up. I think it's 1 from each side. Bold strategy. What do you mean? I think there's 2 penalties coming up here. It's on McCarr and Hartman is what it says on my screen. So Minnesota will get a power play for a second. And then I think it'll be 4-on-4. I have no idea what's happening. It's 4-on-3 right now, I believe. And Landeskog will come out. It'll be 4-on-4 for a bit. 9:07 to go in the third. It's 7-5 in favor of the Avalanche. Goals, goals, goals. That's what it's been here tonight. Face off now in the Avalanche zone. 1 second to go on the power play before it's a 4-on-4. Or sorry, 5-on-5 actually. Puck is cleared back to center. Hughes gets it back then for Minnesota. It's actually 5-on-5, so never mind. Nichushkin. Behind the net then for the Avalanche. Grabbed back by Faber, who tries to backhand it off the boards. Johansson to Hughes. Grabbed back by Boldy. Boldy to Urov. Urov up top. Faber a shot. Gloved by Wedgwood. Through the traffic. In the final 9 minutes of play here in this third period. Goals galore. 7-5 Colorado. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. We're 70 subs away from 6,600. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be live again for Flyers versus Hurricanes, round 2, game 2. And Golden Knights versus Ducks, round 2, game 1. No more goals, you think? Let's take a look at the goalies and their save percentages here tonight. Jesper Wallstedt, 30 saves on 37 shots, 811 save percentage. For Wedgwood, 27 saves on 32 shots, 844. So either way, the goalies are the ones that are punished the most here through all of this. Still 5-on-5. All right, face-off coming up here now. It's going to be in the Avalanche zone. 12 different goal scorers here in this one. 12 different players have a goal here tonight. Face-off coming up in the Colorado zone. It's only the second game with 12 different goal scorers since 1994. The last time was Colorado versus Edmonton back in 2022. Face-off won by Minnesota. Faber alongside McKinnon. Faber will throw a puck in the air. It goes back down into the corner. Now Boldy battling forward with McCarron. Rebound in front there. Faber a shot. Saved by Wedgwood. Here's McKinnon. Battling for now on the right side. Trying to get that one free down low in the corner. Taze is there as well. Carrier forced to center. Quinn Hughes gets it back then for Minnesota. Hughes to Kaprizov. Kaprizov broken up then by the Avalanche. Now Natchez will carry it through center. Tries to get around the D. Lehkonen trying to throw a pass up top. Grabbed back then by Spurgeon. Quinn Hughes will try and move it through center. He'll get around the defense. Into the zone. Broken up there by Waugh. And forced back into the Wild zone. Less than 8 minutes to go in the third. You're off. Chips it down low into the Colorado zone. Huge hit there at the line. Burns. Cross ice pass back into the Wild zone. This will be an icing against Colorado. Minnesota looking for 2 more goals here to tie this game up at 7 apiece. With the way goals have been scored, it wouldn't shock me. But I honestly think that there may not be any more goals scored. But we'll see. We will see. Thank you, Samir. I appreciate it. Face-off will allow Faber a shot saved by Wedgwood. And he gets the cover up. Each team nearly 40 shots here tonight. Yes, this dad, we're trying to get to 6,600 subscribers. We've been doing really good recently. I really appreciate your guys' support. It means a ton. Tomorrow we have hopefully 2 YouTube videos coming out. Face-off in the Avalanche zone is a tie-up. It's won back then by the Wild. Faber at the point gets around Kelly, fires it. Save there as it goes wide. Hughes back up top then for Malinsky. Malinsky off the boards then for Kelly. Parker Kelly can't get to that puck in time. Now battling for it alongside Zuccarello. 7 minutes to go in the third period. Tie up here now down low in the Wild zone. Trying to get this one free. Zuccarello battling for that puck down low. It's still tied up. Now Faber off the boards for Foligno. Foligno chips it to center. Tarasenko will gain the line and dump it down low. Wedgwood gives it back then to Malinsky. Malinsky here in the Avalanche zone. Cleared away then to center. Nichushkin with speed. He's got some room. Shoots it. And it goes wide there of Wedgwood. Landeskog. Back over then for Nichushkin. Nichushkin gets around Hunt. Shoots it. Saved by Wedgwood. Or Wallstead. Who covers it up. 38th shot of the game for Colorado. Good Lord. Good Lord. So we had a game earlier today with hardly any shots and hardly any goals. And now in this game, we have a game with just too many goals. Well, maybe there's never such thing as too many goals. Landeskog battling for it alongside Hunt. Nichushkin down low in the corner then with Landeskog. Back around behind that then to Nichushkin. 6 minutes to go in the third. Hunt gets it back from Minnesota. Chipped off the boards then by Sturm to center. Or at least they try to get it there. Bogosian backhands it all the way to center. Approaching crunch time. Here's Burns. Back to Kulak. Kulak to Lehkonen. McKinnon comes in, drops it back. Shot on. Saved by Wallstead on Natchez. Cleared back to center. Taze to Makar. I think Montreal will beat Buffalo. Taze will dump it down low into the Minnesota zone. McKinnon up top. Here's Makara's shot. And that one goes back down low. Quinn Hughes dumps it to center. Cale Makar now in the Avalanche end. Looking for options. Broken up the Wild. They'll try and clear it down low. Kaprizov will take it back. It's blown dead at 5:08 for, I believe, a high stick. And we will step aside. 5:08 to go in the third period. It's a 2-goal lead for the Avalanche. Weren't around for 80s hockey that had 8 to 9 goals aside a game. Oh, I believe that, but those days are over. 8 to 9 goals for both sides. Those days are over. Shots 39 to 35. Oh, my Lord. Goals back and forth. We will be live for Game 2 of this series as well. Game 2 is on Tuesday at 8 p.m. NHL Draft Lottery on Tuesday as well. Draft Lottery on Tuesday around 5 o'clock. Stream will start at 4:55. Maybe a little bit earlier than that. We'll see. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. 12 total goals in this hockey game. Only 2 in this third period, though. And they've both been for the Avalanche. 5 minutes to go in the third. Keep an eye out for Wallstead. They'll try and pull him. Tarasenko, a shot saved by Wedgwood. Down low now, Colton. Kulak will dump it down low then for Ross Colton on the right side. He's knocked down to the ground by Spurgeon. Picked back up by Middleton. Middleton moves it through center. Back into the Colorado zone now. Kulak battling for it alongside McCarron. Avalanche will clear to center. Hughes off the boards then. Tarasenko back to Faber. Brock Faber now in the Minnesota end. Shots 39-36. Keep an eye out for Wallstead. Quinn Hughes on the right side will regroup now in the wild end. Hughes back over to Faber. Making sure I got the right one. Faber to Hughes. Ahead then to center. Boldy. Backhand to Dello in front. It's in the crease. They score! Matt Zuccarello as it bounces off of Wedgwood and into the back of the net. And it's a 1-goal game. And look at the score. Come on. 7-6. In favor of the Avalanche now. Don't look now. 3:59 to go. Here in the third period. It's a 1-goal hockey game. They're taking a look at this. Are they? What is happening? No, they're not taking a look at this. Never mind. They showed the coaches and I'm like, are they looking at this? I'm like, why would they look at this? I know, right, Barry? This game has been nuts. It's a 1-goal hockey game. Here's McCarron. Chipped off the boards. Puck will slide in just wide of Wedgwood. Third icing at 3:46. I was right off my clock. How the hell did that happen? Matt Zuccarello, 21st career postseason goal. It's the 13th different player to score a goal. 13th different player in this game. Oh, my Lord. That was a wild goal. Face-off one back then by Minnesota. Johansson for Spurgeon. Cleared off the boards by McCarron. Back down low. McCarron here battling forward in the corner in the Colorado zone. Down low now behind the net then is Tarasenko. Keep an eye out for Wallstead. They'll pull him if they get the chance. Wild are forced back into their own zone. They'll dump it down low as they get a line change off. Cale Makar gets it back then for the Avalanche. Makar down low here in the Minnesota zone. 3 minutes to go in the third. Lehkonen battling forward on the right side. Lehkonen up top, then Natchez. Poke checked away. Marty Natchez up top then for Taze. Taze to Makar. Wait, shoots it. He scores! Cale Makar, his second of the night. And it's 8-6. Goals galore. Good Lord. I don't know if I've ever seen this much in a single game. Cale Makar from Devon Taze. That's a multi-point game for Makar, Natchez, Taze, McKinnon, Landeskog, Nichushkin, Malinsky. Quinn Hughes is a multi-point game. Good freaking Lord, dude. Quinn Hughes has 3 points. Nichushkin has 2 points. Natchez has 3 points. Taze has 4 points. Devon Taze has 4 points tonight. Minnesota's calling their timeout. Eight goals on 40 shots. 8 goals on 40 freaking shots. Absolutely insane. 75 total shots. Thank you, Filthy Poet. I appreciate it. Imagine you bet the under. Oh, yeah, you were so wrong if you bet the under. Cale Makar, his third career multi-goal game in a playoffs, or his playoff career. Horrible job at wording that. Good Lord. Nothing burger of words. Goalies are not playing well tonight. It's not even really on the goalies entirely. The defense has been terrible on both sides. Face-off one back then by Minnesota. 2.5 minutes to go. Quinn Hughes to Kaprizov. Kaprizov up top, then Boldy. Boldy fires it. It goes off of Wedgwood and wide. Wallstead will go to the bench. Empty net for Minnesota. Makar to Boldy. Down low now. Makar battling for it on the right side. Up top, Zuccarello. Pass to Hughes. Quinn Hughes scoots it around the D. Looks for options. Back down low to Faber. Brock Faber with 2:15 left. Hughes to Faber. Faber for Hughes. Cross-ice pass broken by McKinnon. He'll fire for the empty net. He hits it. Nathan McKinnon makes it 9-6 in favor of Colorado. And now look at what this says. Nice. This is literally one of the craziest games I've ever had the pleasure of commentating. Thank you all so much for being here. Wow. Nathan McKinnon has himself a goal. He adds on to the fun. And it's 9-6 with 2 minutes remaining. Back down low now into the Minnesota zone. Here's Bogosian. Through to center. Nico Sturm on the right side. It's McKinnon from Lehkonen. Time will wind down here. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Burns. Battling forward with Foligno. Here's Drury. Down low now in the corner. 1.5 minutes to go here in regulation. Still tied up down low. Approaching the final minute of play here in regulation. It's a 7-man battle for it down low. Colorado trying to clear to center. Getting to it then is O'Connor. He'll get around the D. O'Connor comes in. Saved by Wallstead. Rebound was there, but it goes just wide. Last minute of play. Up top, Blackenberg. Blackenberg down low in the corner then for Colton. Ross Colton on the right side fires one on. Rebounds there. It's saved by Wedgwood. You made it a 10-6 game. Banked off the boards and back to center. All of Colorado is on their feet. Colton shoots it on. It goes wide. On the right side, then Middleton. Battling forward alongside Waugh. 25 seconds to go in this third period. Shots are 42-36. There was a lot of outcomes that you could have expected in this game. Icing here against the Avalanche. I don't know if I could have ever expected this. 12.4 seconds on the clock. There have been a total of 15 goals in this game. It's the third time in NHL history with 14 different goal scorers in a single game. We're witnessing a little bit of history here. Avalanche will dump the puck back into the Minnesota zone. It will not be enough for an icing. And Colorado takes game one. Final score, Avalanche 9 and the Wild 6. And they win the hockey game. Good freaking Lord. Wow. That was an absolutely insane game. I really don't know if I've ever commentated something like that before. That was nuts. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe down below if you're new. We're going to be back tomorrow for Carolina versus Philadelphia round 2, game 2. And Anaheim versus Vegas round 2, game 1. Talk about a game with no defense. Take a look at the goaltender stats before we wrap up here. Shots were 43-36. That's a total of nearly 80 shots. Jesper Wallstedt, 34 saves on 42 shots. 8 goals allowed, 8-10. Scott Wedgwood, 30 saves on 36 shots. 6 goals allowed, 833. The winning goal, he got an 833. Jesus. All right, that'll do it for me. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you're new. We're going to have our recap of all the games today, plus our top performers. There'll be a lot of top performers in that game. Or in this game. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next stream.